and I was on the verge of quitting wrestling, and that conversation with him and with William Regal they're the only two reasons that I continued to wrestle.
Keith Lee joins us at Progress Chapter 95 here at Ali Pali. Keith, firstly, what's it like wrestling in a sauna? Because that might be the hottest room I've ever been in my life.
Actually, yeah, this is very different from the last time I was here. It was nice and cool last time, but it's nothing that it doesn't bother me. My years in football, I trained in really hot weather in 40 pounds of gear, and I've done BOLA for PWG.
Yeah, to be fair, I've been in that room. That's a hot room, to be fair.
Yeah, so this is actually nothing for me. It's not a problem.
All right, fair. I'm loving the...
I just, I sweat easy, so...
Oh, trust me, I was stood at the back watching you, and I was sweating, so I can understand what it must be like if you're under the lights in the ring. I'm loving the Flash Morgan Webster T-shirt as a choice, the vest as a fashion choice. It's strong, man.
He's a good brother, is what I like to call him. He's one of my favorite talents here, so I try to support him when I can.
Absolutely love that. First time back in the UK for quite a while. How was it being back? Great reaction from the crowd, it felt like.
It was good. I've voiced several times that Europe in general is a place that I miss, up to and including Ireland. So being able to come back was obviously awesome. Not quite the big return I would have liked, but the crowd was there. It made me feel just as special as always, and at the end of the day, that's what it was about for me. It
does feel like the UK crowd, they buy into it very quickly. We had the Bask in Your Glory chant. We had I don't know if you heard it from where we were. We had the You're Just a Small Town in Yorkshire chants coming in. Have you been to Keith Lee? That's got to be one of our questions.
No,
surely.
I keep being told that I need to make that trip.
I'm not going to lie, there's not a lot there.
I've heard.
It's a lovely place.
Nonetheless, Mr. Jim Smallman has offered to take me numerous times, actually. And typically, I just don't have the time. For instance, finished fighting today, and I'll go back and I'll get ready and got a flight back to the States tomorrow. So,
what are your kind of positive memories from wrestling here in the UK? I can remember watching you here in Super Strong Style, fantastic tournament you had then, seeing you in Rev Pro, in OTT. It feels like it's somewhere where you've when you were building up this recent head of steam, that's somewhere that embraced you in a big way?
I think number one is the fans, especially when they do the song "Hey Jude," but in the form of Keith Lee. It is my favorite thing on the planet. I love it so much. But after that, it's just the opportunity to put on Keith Lee matches, my style, my way. I don't really feel like today was like that, but in singles competition, being able to produce my type of martial art is something that I love and enjoy, and I love the appreciation that's shown for it.
It's really interesting because we've sat here with Matt Riddle, who you're tagging with today. We've sat here with Kyle O'Reilly, and all of them kind of communicated the same thing. What's great about being here is that you can work your style and people buy into it in a big way. And I think that feels like it's the same, that they've had the opportunity to do the same in NXT. Do you feel like going into the big brand, that you've still been able to work your style, work your Keith Lee matches?
I would say lately I've had that opportunity, but initially absolutely not. It's definitely a lot of things that I am suggested not to do and or just cannot do in general. And that's just the way it goes, man. Different system, different style there, and different vision for what they want from me. So just kind of have to work within the context of what's given to me.
And people talked about particularly your recent match with Dominik as being takeover level. That was the words we heard for TV. Was that something where you felt like, okay, maybe the constraints, the way it was working at first, you had to work around it, but that was a chance you got to show what you can actually do?
If I'm being honest, I would say that match with Dijak was and you'll have to forgive me, I like to call him Dijak for short because Dijakovic is just so long.
It's all right. If he moves over to SmackDown or Raw, they'll shorten it anyway. So
of course,
he'll probably be Dijak anyway.
I hope so, for my sake and for fans' sake. Nonetheless, I just feel like I don't feel like that was a takeover level match for us. I feel like that was just a drop in the bucket. It's just like, here's a taste. Everything that we do, I feel like, is just a taste test. Like, here's an appetizer. We have yet to produce or fight to a level that allows us to go into a full course meal. And I don't know if or when people will see it, but they will know when they experience it. I'm happy that people view it as a takeover level match. For me, it's just another day in the office. So, we'll see what the future holds, I suppose.
I think it's fair because for me it was. I'm a huge fan of yours from your time over here, and you mentioned PWG and Bowler and stuff earlier. The match you two had on, I think it was day 3 of Bowler a couple of years ago. That was kind of, if anyone wants to see what you guys can do, there was a level that reached that felt like, with the crowd, the heat, everything that went into it, that felt really special. And that's what I'm desperate to see on TV with NXT.
I honestly feel like that match was overkill. Here's the truth behind that match, okay? Dijak got the okay to do Bola, even though he was already technically with WWE. He got the okay, and he was allowed to come do it, and I think that was just a statement match for us because we knew it would be the last time we would fight on the indies, and we wanted to leave something behind that we felt like honored who we are as what some would call hyper athletes. And so literally it was the most ridiculous thing we could come up with. I don't know. I know that there are things that we can do that outshadow that, but I don't know if we would do as much as we did in that match because it was, let's be honest, that was so over the top. I go back and watch now and I'm just like, what are you doing? Why did you do that? Come on, guys. It's a bit much.
As a big fella, I loved it. I'm all in for it. I love seeing big guys doing big things and not just having to subscribe to the very standard, here's some power moves, I'm going to work on top. Like actually doing some stuff that maybe people wouldn't expect from a big man.
True enough, but at the same time, I also am the epitome. I feel like I am the representative of that entire niche at this point. Being a guy that's 340 pounds and doing what I do, not just flippy things, but catching guys that are 300 pounds and throwing guys up in the air that are 300. People lost their minds when I popped up large for the Spirit Bomb. They had no idea. I am an all-around ridiculous athlete, and I think I'm the staple holder for that entire genre that is wrestling art. That being said, I also believe that because that is the case, I have to do things in a minimalistic way so that they mean something. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the match that we had, it was excellent, but there was so much happening that it made other things not mean as much as they should.
I think that's what it comes down to as well with the stuff you're talking about Dijak in NXT. The understanding was that was meant to happen about 6 or 8 months earlier, and then you had the injury, and then he had the big injury, and that kind of drew out. So NXT starts on TV this coming week, something to be hyped about, I think, for a lot of people. But what it is it's now 2 hours and a bigger platform. So if you want to tell those stories, if you want to do more with it, feels like that opportunity is opening itself up at the right moment, maybe.
Perhaps. I think at this point for me, especially after today, I'm definitely going to consider more of concern for myself as opposed to associates and acquaintances and things of that sort, to focus on Keith Lee art as opposed to trying to meld into other forms. And I think that there being live television is going to give a lot of people an opportunity to see Keith Lee in his finest hour, so to speak. Meaning the collar's off, the leash is gone, handcuffs are gone, and I get to do things the way that I want to do it. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Is it definitely singles you're looking at? Because obviously we saw the Limitless Bros today, you and Matt, which was a lot of fun. Is that something you'd want to consider doing, or are you thinking you want to focus on Keith Lee?
I think I've always been a singles guy. I've had my tag stints, and I'm not going to go and say that I would be opposed to it necessarily. I'm fairly open-minded, especially when it comes to business, and I am a businessman, unlike most. If it makes business sense, I will do a tag. If it does not make business sense, of course I'm going to focus on singles, because that's what I love. That's my passion. I love the struggle. I love the fight. I love the battles. I love the energy, the drama, the emotion. All those things are what I love about the sport. So,
do you have a vision for, because I think we see, and Matt's a good example, Riddle, of someone who came in around the same time as you and has managed to do a lot, get on the takeovers, etc. And you've had your knockbacks, your injuries, but we'd like to see more from you. Is there a plan with TV coming? Have they spoken to you about how you might be used more? Because, like I said, as a fan, I want to see you week in, week out, and I want to see you getting those opportunities to shine on the pay-per-views, etc.
I feel like, to me, it makes sense it becoming a 2-hour show, that there would be more opportunity. And with more opportunity, I don't think that there's much of a choice, because every time I go out there, it doesn't matter who they put me against. It doesn't matter if they're beating me. It doesn't matter anything. I am the one that shines. And that's one of the reasons. I put out a tweet a while ago, and it simply said, it doesn't matter how they view me. It doesn't matter where you put me on the card. I'm the main event. If I so choose to be, that's what's going to happen, because I can still win any show I choose to. So, if the opportunities come, I will take my spot. That's just how I roll. I've never chosen like some people are, and I'm okay with that, because every time I get to the top, it's a credit to the fact that I earned it and I take what I want. So, and that's going to be more my focus going forward.
What do you enjoy about coming back and getting to do shows like this? I mean, I was chatting to some of the guys earlier. Sounds like you guys had a bit of fun getting into UK last night. Went out with Matt and with Eddie Kingston, a few of the other guys, getting to catch up with some guys like Flash who maybe you don't see on the regular basis. Is it cool getting to come back and not just come into the UK, but do some indie events? Maybe you could go and do stuff in Evolve, etc. That those opportunities are open to NXT guys. And
I don't really know if Evolve has any interest in me, actually. But regardless of what the situation holds, I love going back, for meeting up and seeing old friends, acquaintances, meeting new people, seeing new talent, because that's another passion of mine, is seeing new people come up and kind of blossom, and finding people with potential and trying to help them in whatever way that I can. But secondly, I was more than happy coming back to the UK because I was able to get Nandos yesterday.
Well, obviously we know the Will Ospreay Nandos thing. It's more with him than anyone I've ever met before. But I saw you guys tweeting about this. I saw you guys getting, do you not have, I know there's a few Nandos in America, but do you not have anything of we go to America and we are amazed by the quality of the fast food most places. And yet, you guys come over from the States and it's all you want to talk about is going and getting your Nandos.
So here's the thing. You're amazed by quality fast food in America because you guys have healthier food here. So when you have the bad stuff, it just tastes amazing to you.
Oh, yeah.
You don't realize how much badness is in the food.
If I get to a Whataburger or...
Whataburger's not as bad. It's not as bad, honestly. But if you're going to eat a Taco Bell or something like that, you're going to suffer.
Yeah,
it's you might end up in the fetal position. It seems like quality, but it's really a lot of garbage inside of it.
It takes a lot to get through this, I have to say.
Hey, man.
I've ended up that way before.
You're not on your own, brother. You're not on your own. I said it before, 340. Don't forget. This is real. My actual last weight was 343, I think. But yeah, I don't even eat fast food. I don't like it because it tears me up. As occasional cheat days where I'll have like a Whataburger or something like that. But it's pretty rare, pretty rare.
But if it's a Nandos, then you're all in.
Dude, every time I come, I make sure I have to have Nandos. Something about the cleanliness of the food here that I really enjoy. Like my first time ever touching ground here, I had Subway was my first place to try. Because at that time, I thought that was healthy. It's pretty bad in the States, but here is a completely different taste. And I can, because of how I cook personally, or my usual diet, I can tell when something's clean versus when there's just some excess rubbish in it.
Good use of rubbish.
Well, yes.
Knowing how to appeal to the UK audience. What a cliche that you and I ended up talking about food when we got together to have a conversation. Yeah, indeed. I did want to ask about the Bask in his glory thing, because where did that all come from? I remember the first time I saw you, it was already people were chanting it to the Seven Nation Army, and it was already the thing. And I absolutely love it as a gimmick, as an idea. Where did that initially come from?
So I've told the story many a time. I have like 5 different articles with like Forbes and ESPN.
I don't do any research before these things, Keith.
It's fine. It's fine.
Have a conversation.
It's perfectly fine. But I do like telling a story, because for those people that don't know, and matter of fact, somebody sent me a screenshot at one point that actually questioned the story of this and how it begun, and I felt like it was so disrespectful. So, in case you see this person, you know who you are. That began because my first tryout with WWE was in 2008, 3 years after I started. And I had an entire week of just a single tryout, just me. And I got turned down that time. Dusty Rhodes told me that I was trash on the mic, basically. And he taught me a few things. 2011, I had another tryout. This one was only 3 days. Bit better on the mic, but not quite there. 2013, when the Performance Center first opened and had its very first big tryout.
Yeah.
So I was there with like 31 other guys. And that tryout was the one I felt like I'd come into my own, talking and kind of presenting myself and becoming that entity, that specimen, the deity, if you will.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. And in that tryout, Dusty Rhodes said to me, and I quote, "You've got it. You have a presence that I feel like I can bask in." And he said, "Take it and do with it what you will." And so from there, I told him, I was like, and this is before I left, obviously. I was like, "What do you think about something like Bask in My Glory?" And he was like, "I like it, baby." And from there, that's how it was created by Dusty Rhodes. That's one reason I hold on to it so dearly, because that moment meant so much for me. And I probably would have quit wrestling, because I also got turned down that tryout as well. And I was on the verge of quitting wrestling, and that conversation with him and with William Regal they're the only 2 reasons that I continued to wrestle. And ever since that tryout, so I got injured after that. I came back toward the end of 2014, I think in July, and I've been using it ever since then. So for anybody that's got questions, no, I didn't create it. Dusty Rhodes created it, but it's his passion and his words that kind of touch my heart, and so I use it, and you know, it's a special thing to me.
I still think the genius of WWE and the Performance Center was bringing in Dusty Rhodes early on, bringing in William Regal early on, those people who are so giving and so kind of, you know, you can never hear a negative story about them. Everyone talks about the positive ways they impacted their career. Do you find that now that you're getting that with the guys you're working with there? Now have you found you've got a lot from Triple H's, the Shawn Michaels of this world that you think has helped you in any way over the last year or so?
Triple H is a brilliant mind. I've had a few talks with Shawn Michaels, but it's not like personable talks like I've had with Triple H. And honestly, some of you are gonna laugh at this, but I have to give credit where credit's due. The biggest impact that I've had to my career since I've been at the Performance Center is a man called Terry Taylor. You probably know who he is.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
There's so many stories about him, but his mind is absolutely brilliant when it comes to wrestling. And he has affected me in such a positive way and changed a lot of what I do and how I do it, how I progress. Just a lot has elevated for me personally since working alongside him. So I'm super grateful for working with him. And, you know, hopefully I'll get more time with Shawn as well. But I think a lot of people in professional wrestling would be able to elevate their ability to be a star, not just a wrestler, not just a person doing moves, be a star by applying some of his knowledge.
Well, look, Keith, it's been really good fun. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for talking to us, particularly with the jet lag and already having had your match today. You had fun doing it in front of the UK crowd, though, it sounds like. So.
Oh, I always love the UK crowd. There's few experiences better. So, yeah, I definitely enjoyed myself.
Love that. Well, you're welcome here anytime. Trust me, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dude.
Good man.